Hey everybody, this is Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Laurel Blanchard here with the latest on the tropics, and we officially have Tropical Storm Debby. So let's break down the latest National Hurricane Center update. This is the 5 p.m. update, and with this storm has reached now tropical storm strength, so over 39 mile per hour winds, currently sitting at 40 mile per hour winds, so just making that tropical storm strength. And the greatest updates with this new track is that it's going to be hanging out in the Gulf and possibly making landfall a little bit later than originally expected, as this storm once again really taps into that warm ocean water in the Gulf. So let's we'll break it down pretty quickly and then get into more of the details of when we can expect this to make landfall and further discuss threats and timing. So with this, we're going to be expecting the storm to kind of swing out in the Gulf a little bit more and then make landfall along the Big Bend as we head into Monday afternoon. So this is the biggest change of what we can see so far. With this, we're going to be expecting also this storm, because it is going to be lingering in the Gulf a little bit more, to possibly make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane, and we'll talk about strength of that in just a second. But also with the state of the atmosphere, there's actually a roadblock kind of happening along the Ohio Valley, lingering over New England, so this storm really doesn't have anywhere to go, which also National Hurricane Center does suggest that this storm going to possibly tap back into the Atlantic and then maybe swing back into the Carolina coastline as it does make its way more towards the end of the work week, talking about Wednesday afternoon into Thursday. So those are the two biggest updates of what we can see with this latest. So now let's actually break this down, what we can expect more of timing as we take a look at this new track. So further breaking everything down, this is where the storm currently is sitting, just over the northern coast of Cuba, going to be swinging out a little bit more into the Gulf of Mexico and then swinging back in. So this is possibly going to be making landfall at about 2 p.m. on Monday as a Category 1 hurricane. So that's one of the biggest updates that we can see right there, possibly 75 mile per hour winds as we take a look along the coast of Florida. And then as we do take a look crossing over the Florida-Georgia line, weakening back down to a tropical system, swinging possibly back out into the Atlantic before swinging back inland along the Carolina coastline back as a tropical storm, and kind of just lingering there for a couple of days, continuing to drop rain across the Georgia and Carolina coastline. So still, we are going to be keeping an eye on this for quite a while, because there are a lot more updates to come. And with this, we are going to be very much focusing in on where the storm is going to be located and when it's going to be making landfall, because we are already actually starting to see the effects of what is now Tropical Storm Debby. So let's break down what we can see at the moment. So with this storm, now is Tropical Storm Debby, so reaching that tropical storm strength, 39 mile per hour winds, and once it hits 74 miles per hour, that's when it's going to be defined as a Category 1 hurricane. So with that, if it makes landfall as a Category 1 along the Big Bend, going to be seeing very dangerous winds, and that will definitely produce some damage, especially knocking down power lines, taking away furniture, possibly putting a little bit of damage to roofs. So just make sure you are staying weather aware, and also if you are in any evacuation zones, make sure you do take this seriously. For preparation, now we're starting to have a little bit of a window, a little bit clearer, but we are going to be expecting a lot of rain, especially tomorrow. So finish off any preparations you have to this evening. Later on tonight, make sure anything that's outside that could blow away, any lawn furniture, pool furniture, make sure those are either brought inside or tied down. And also just make sure you have plenty of supplies to definitely wait out the storm Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday as well. And even after the storm rolls through, we're going to be expecting a lot of rain. So with that, make sure you're definitely staying out of floodwaters. That's the most important thing. Only about a few inches of rain can easily take away a person, and about 6 inches can even sweep away a small vehicle. So that's going to be the toughest thing, is because we are going to be expecting a good amount of rain in a short amount of time. Stay out of floodwaters. That's the biggest thing right there. Also stay away from downed power lines and any damaged buildings as well. So with that, let's get into the current threats of what's out there right now. So a state of emergency is in effect from Governor Ron DeSantis. 54 counties across Florida are under the state of emergency, including most in our DMA. We can see over here all of the counties within that bold boundary, with the exception of Brevard County, under this state of emergency. So definitely take this storm seriously. And we'll get into more of that with the current effects and advisories that are now in effect across the region. So let's break this down. So right now for hurricane advisories, this is definitely the most serious out of all of them at the moment. All of these are very serious, but this is the most pressing at the moment with the latest updates. These are going to be in effect through Friday morning. So with this, any areas within that very bright pink and the orange, including Gilchrist County and Levy County, two of those counties of which are in our DMA, going to be expecting 45 to 60 mile per hour winds with gusts possibly up to 80 miles per hour and 4 to 6 foot waves. And we'll touch upon storm surges in one moment. So now as we take a look at the tropical storm advisories, anywhere in red, especially along the coastline, mainly affecting Levy County for our DMA, going to be seeing wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour, possibly some flooding as well as rain, especially because that zone is going to be right by where the storm is going to be making landfall or is predicted to make landfall, and also going to be expecting very rough seas along the entire western coastline. Now for the counties in yellow. So we can see right here Lake County as well as Polk County, parts of our DMA going to be in effect with this. This is a tropical storm watch, so make sure you are prepared because you could slip into that tropical storm warning, and that's when you really need to start paying attention. So with that, watch, make sure you're watching out, make sure you're watching your area for any advisories. Warning, make sure you're taking action right now. So with Lake County, we are going to be seeing, as of advised at the moment, wind gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour and definitely some flooding rain with the potential for some tornadoes as well. So now let's get into the storm surges. We touched upon it just a moment ago, but especially along the Big Bend where we're going to be expecting this storm to make landfall. So once again, across Gilchrist, Dixie, Levy counties, going to be expecting anywhere from 3 to 5 feet of storm surge, and anywhere basically along the Tampa Bay coastline all the way down to Bonita Springs and Bonita Beach, going to be expecting 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. So that's what that is. And now we're going to be touching upon tornadoes, because as the storm rolls through, this storm has a lot of rotation with it, and as those smaller rain bands really push up and through, which we'll definitely map out in a second, there's going to be definitely some quick spin ups. So with that, tornado watches and warnings. Watch, make sure you're being prepared, watch out, watch the forecast. Warning, you have to take action now. And with that, make sure you have a storm safety place. So this is the lowest level of your home or the most interior room of your home, such as a closet or a bathroom, away from any windows and doors. That's where you want to go if you find yourself in a tornado warning through the rest of the weekend and into the start of the work week. So with that, let's once again take a look at the track. With this, we are going to be seeing Tropical Storm Debby. We're already starting to see the clouds and some of the outer rain bands we already saw earlier this afternoon. And now we are going to be seeing Tropical Storm Debby, possibly increasing to Hurricane Category 1 Debby as we take a look a little bit later on, possibly Monday afternoon as it makes landfall, continuing to ride along the Florida-Georgia coastline and slowly start to make its way back out into the Atlantic, swinging back inland into the Carolina coastline. So that's the entire track. That's what we're expecting. And once again, the biggest change with this, possibly the storm hanging out in the Gulf, tapping into that jet fuel of very warm ocean water, strengthening to a Category 1 as it makes landfall on the Florida coastline. So that's what we're expecting. That's the biggest thing of what we're going to be seeing for the next couple of days. So now let's get into the forecast. We're going to be seeing those outer rain bands slowly make their way through central Florida as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. So this is Sunday, 7 a.m., really going to be seeing these outer rain bands really just swing across, and this is all tornado threats. Because of this storm already having rotation, these storms easily can have quick spin-ups of tornadoes, EF0, EF1, maybe an EF2 with a stronger one. Now, as the storm continues to roll up, this is the biggest difference in models at the moment, is the timing of when this is going to be making landfall. So this is our Fox model. This is the only model that you'll see. These are the only two stations that have it, is Fox 13 in Tampa and us here in Central Florida. So with this, once again, these models now very much agreeing with what the National Hurricane Center is displaying. This storm continuing to strengthen as it makes landfall, possibly making landfall early Monday morning. So this is about 2, 3 in the morning, and then it's making its way over the coast. But as you can see, with all of this rain, we are going to be on the dirty side of the storm. So that means we're on the eastern side of the storm. Lots of rain, lots of tornadoes, which we'll break down those effects in a second. But even as we head into Monday, as the storm does possibly roll off the East Coast and slowly start to tap back into the Atlantic, making once again possible landfall across the Carolina coastline, we are going to be seeing lots of rain bands still continuing to pull away, which easily can provide quick spin ups as well. Slowly starting to see conditions improve later on Monday evening, and then finally Tuesday really starting to see things improve, but still going to be seeing possible rain bands as the storm lingers off the eastern coast. But with this, we're also going to be having a lot of wind pushing ocean water down the coast, so I wouldn't be surprised if Brevard County, or especially counties along the eastern coastline, Flagler, Volusia, Brevard, going to be seeing storm surges even Thursday going into Friday. So that's something to keep an eye on, especially for Brevard, Volusia, as well as Flagler counties on the East Coast. Even though you're not getting direct impact on the West Coast, definitely still keep an eye on that for the East Coast. So this is the Barron model. This is the model for this system, our graphic system right here, saying a similar thing. So here across central Florida, we're going to be seeing, once again, those rain bands really going to be impacting us through the next couple of days, and especially through the rest of this evening. Not too much of that tornado threat tonight, but tomorrow morning, yes, with those stronger bands closer to the center of the storm, that's when we can see more of that chance for the possibility of tornadoes as the storm continues to roll up the coastline. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see the timing on landfall, because this is the biggest discrepancy. Fox model has it coming in earlier on Monday at about 3 a.m. The Barron's model now has it starting to roll in between 5 and 6 a.m. So that's really the biggest difference of what we're expecting. National Hurricane Center possibly saying it could come in later at about 2 in the afternoon. So models kind of jumping what the National Hurricane Center is predicting. But this still saying something very similar. Going to be seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms, as well as the possibility of tornadoes as the outer rain bands push through central Florida after the storm makes landfall. So now let's talk rainfall. Lots of rain. Once again, we mentioned that we are going to be on the dirty side of the storm, so lots of rain, possibility of tornadoes as well with this storm. So with this, we're going to be seeing a lot of rain in a short amount of time. Be prepared for flooding. That's going to be our biggest threat here in central Florida. And with this, we could be seeing over 10 inches of rain locally, maybe even more, depending on where this storm does make landfall. And this is going to be updating. I think this is going to be the biggest change of what we're going to be seeing for the next couple of hours. So with this, we're going to be seeing a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And even as this system, looking back into Wednesday, going to be seeing the majority of the rain Sunday into Monday, but even Tuesday into Wednesday, some areas still going to be picking up another couple of inches of rain as the last of those rain bands finally push out and move out. So that's the good news right there. Now for tornado potential. We are going to be on the dirty side of the storm, and even with this storm strengthening, still even posing more of a threat. So now the system going to be pushing a little bit further away from the coastline. Those outer rain bands that still have quite a bit of rotation from the center of the storm, easy, quick spin-ups, especially along the eastern coastline. And this is what we're going to be very much keeping an eye on, and something that you should definitely keep an eye on. Make sure you all do have a storm safety area that you can put you and your family if you do find yourself in a tornado warning, which once again, that is an active, happening at the moment tornado that is confirmed. So that's what we're going to be very much stressing over the next couple of days, making sure you understand the difference between all the watches and warnings that are going to be posted within the next couple of days. So that's the biggest thing. Now just main threats of what we're going to be expecting. Wind, definitely on the lower side, possibly here in central Florida, especially more towards Orlando area, anywhere between 30 and 40 mile per hour gusts. That's what we're going to be expecting. Most likely lingering about 20 mile per hour winds. Coastline's going to be a little bit different, especially Gilchrist, Dixie, Levy County going to be expecting much more wind and much more rain. Tornadoes, region-wide going to be a great threat, but flooding and the heavy rain also going to be the greatest threat for the next couple of days, which is why tomorrow we are putting in an alert day. Monday, as we still continue to see the impacts from Debby, going to be also an impact day as well. So we're going to be very much focusing in on what the next couple of days have to offer before we heat up back into the mid-90s as we see more of that Florida typical August summertime pattern start to fall back into play as we see those pop up and die down evening and afternoon thunderstorms. Everyone, make sure you are staying safe with this storm, as well as make sure you're tuning in to Fox 35 as we cover Debby for the next couple of days. Have a great night. Stay safe.